And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Kasarian, and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. Alright, what are we working on today? We are actually going to be working on a new fighter. That's right. If you guys remember correctly, we'd had some issues with fighters in the past where they tended to get blown up and shot to bits before we could really do anything with them. So hopefully this new design is going to be able to handle things a little bit better. As you can see, we've also done some extra work on our station, or on our ship here. Just some minor changes, engine configurations, that sort of thing. Nothing too major. Put that there. Okay. Because this is basically going to be our primary weapons and storage area. Okay, so what are we doing then? Well, what we're doing for starters is we have a cockpit, one of these fighter cockpit things that they've added for us. And we have a couple conveyor belts that are going to form the back, basically the backbone of this ship. The nice thing about this cockpit design is it actually gives us a fair bit of space. Alright, so we have our conveyors down. Well, let's get ourselves... How big is the azimuth sprue? Ooh, that's a bit big. That's a lot big, actually. Alright, so we'll have to stick with the standard size reactors then. Now, I'm probably going to end up overpowering this thing, as is usual for me. Okay, so we'll have to twist this around a little bit. There we go. I think 4 of those reactors should do the trick. At least for starters, let's say. Okay. So now that we have those down, let's move these around a little bit, actually. Do I want to move them? Where's my center line? Now, here's roughly my center line, so... Okay. I apologize if frame rate's a little lacking, but this is my laptop, not my tower. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to get... Let's go with some more conveyors, actually. So then we're going to come out here, right? Now, let's just take a look at something real quick. Let's take a look at the... There we go. AP or HECK. We'll go with 2 and 2, I think. Alright, so these guys are long. Long guns, huh? Well, they're not actually that long. Yeah, that doesn't stick out too far forward to where I want it to be. Yeah, so we'll go with 2 APCR cannons. Are those roughly aligned? Those are aligned. Okay, good. Then, if I remember how these set up correctly... There we go. Okay, so... We'll put these in like this. I have a spotlight out on these, by the way. So we'll put those on there, alright? And then I forgot a conveyor on this side like that. Alright, so let's get in our welder ship and just do a quick welding job on these guys. Now, this is intended to basically be a heavy fighter. What I'm probably missing for those are reactor components, I'm willing to bet. Yep, metal grates and reactor components. Okay. The other thing I did was I moved some assemblers into here, so... let's go with production. Let's get some metal grates. And some... We should have some reactor components laying around in here. There we go. Alright, so these little cannons here. Oh, right. We're going to run into this issue now. Okay. Right. I forgot about this problem. Okay, remember how the conveyors won't work until we actually put something in them? Yeah. Alright, so let's actually steal this guy. And we'll just give him just enough juice to get him started.